हे एवरीवन, वेलकम टू द कैंपस कोड पॉडकास्ट। आज का एपिसोड बहुत स्पेशल है क्योंकि हम बात करने वाले हैं शामली से, जो इनर गाइज की को फाउंडर है। इनर गाइज एक क्लिनिकली वैलिडेटेड स्ट्रेस रिलीफ वेरिएबल डिवाइस है जो वेगस नर्व स्टिमुलेशन का यूज़ करता है। ये स्टार्टअप शार्क टैंक इंडिया सीजन 4 के एपिसोड 5 में फीचर हुआ था, जहां इनको अमन गुप्ता, रितेश अग्रवाल और असगर इकबाल जी से 1 करोड़ की फंडिंग मिली इन एक्सचेंज ऑफ 4.2% इक्विटी। इस पॉडकास्ट में हम बात करेंगे कि ये आइडिया कैसे स्टार्ट हुआ, शार्क टैंक का एक्सपीरियंस उनका कैसा रहा, और इंडिया में एक हार्डवेयर बेस्ड डीप टेक स्टार्टअप बिल्ड करना कितना चैलेंजिंग है, और एक स्टार्टअप बिल्ड करते वक्त शालमली ने अपनी टाइप 1 डायबिटीज़ को कैसे मैनेज किया। एंड ट्रस्ट मी, ये एपिसोड इंसाइट्स और इंस्पिरेशन से भरा हुआ है, तो एंड तक जरूर देखना। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, वेलकम टू द कैंपस कॉड पॉडकास्ट एंड बिग थैंक्स फॉर डूइंग दिस।
Thank you. Thank you so much.
सो वी वुड लाइक टू नो अबाउट योर बैकग्राउंड कि आप एक हेल्थ टेक स्टार्टअप फाउंड करने तक कैसे पहुंचे एंड डॉट्स कैसे
Yes,
कनेक्ट हुए, थोड़ा शेयर करिए।
definitely. So I'm actually an engineer. I completed my engineering in instrumentation and control from Cummins College of Engineering, Pune. तो वहाँ से मैंने अपनी engineering complete की and I had passed out in the COVID period. तो तब I was already working on one of my first startup ideas, which was based on an AI-based system for real-time water quality analysis. That was my final year project, and I really wanted to take it forward. तो मैंने उस पे काम शुरू किया था. I ran it for 2 years. फिर after doing the pilots and when we realized that the solution we were building was not really scalable, we decided to shut it down and solve for a much more bigger problem, make it make a product for a bigger market eventually. And I have always been very passionate about health tech in general, and mental health specifically, because since COVID, we got to know the importance of mental health. काफी awareness आ गई थी तब तक. So that's when in late 2022 is when I decided to start working on Energize. And yeah, that has been the journey so far.
तो कैन यू शेयर इनर गाइज का आइडिया कहाँ से आया?
Yes. So, Energize has always stemmed from our personal struggles. मतलब जब मैं कोविड के टाइम, जब हमारी फर्स्ट वेव आई थी, जहाँ पे वैक्सीनेशंस तब निकाले नहीं थे, पीपल वर स्टिल गेटिंग हॉस्पिटलाइज्ड, बहुत ज्यादा टेंशन रहती थी सभी लोगों को इफ एनीबडी गॉट डायग्नोज्ड विद कोविड. तब उस दौरान मेरे फैमिली में ऑलमोस्ट हाफ ऑफ माय फैमिली मेंबर्स गॉट कोविड एंड दे वर एडमिटेड इन द हॉस्पिटल. तो उस ड्यूरेशन में माय ग्रैंडपेरेंट्स, लाइक बोथ माय ग्रैंडमदर एंड माय ग्रैंडफादर, वर एक्चुअली एडमिटेड इन द सेम हॉस्पिटल, इन द सेम रूम फॉर द कोविड ट्रीटमेंट. तब माय ग्रैंडफादर अनफॉर्चुनेटली पास्ड अवे, एंड वी हैड टू टेक केयर ऑफ आवर ग्रैंडमदर तब. एंड बिकॉज शी वाज इन अ वेरी पुअर स्टेट, उनकी हेल्थ बहुत ज्यादा खराब हो गई थी. We had to literally pretend for a month that grandfather he's still in the ICU, he's still alive, and we had to really take care of her. तो वो पूरा पीरियड बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेसफुल था मेरे घर वालों के लिए. एंड टू ईज आउट द स्ट्रेस एंड एंजाइटी, दे वर गिवन दी स्लीपिंग पिल्स जो होते हैं टू काम डाउन योर एंजाइटी, जस्ट टू हेल्प यू फॉल asleep. बट मैंने ये ऑब्जर्व किया दैट ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, जैसे जैसे आप ये पिल्स लेते हो, योर बॉडी ग्रोज टॉलरेंट टू इट ओवर टाइम. तो जो चीज़ आपको हेल्प करनी चाहिए टू fall asleep, to calm down, actually now you have to consume more amount of such pills to come to that baseline level, ताकि आप अच्छे से सो पाओ या फिर आप थोड़े काम हो जाओ. You don't have so much thoughts racing in your mind. And especially if you are a diabetic or a person who is suffering from hypertension, उनके लिए और मुश्किल हो जाता था, because these things would fluctuate their blood glucose levels, their blood pressure levels. So it was a vicious cycle. And तब से ये दिमाग में था कि there is no accessible solution. अगर you want to just calm down, you want a solution जो non invasive हो, जिसके कोई side effects ना हो. तो तब से ये दिमाग में था. And because it was COVID period, doctors का access already बहुत कम हो चुका था. Everybody was stressed, nobody was really going out of their houses, so that was the kind of time period we were talking about. तो जब मैंने डिसाइड किया कि आई वांट टू मूव ऑन टू माय नेक्स्ट स्टार्टअप, आई डिसाइडेड दैट इट हैज टू बी मेंटल हेल्थ. It has to be something that helps people on a larger scale. And तब मैंने थोड़ा रिसर्च किया था अपने एंड से. आई स्टार्टेड स्पीकिंग टू साइकोलॉजिस्ट, न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट, and at that time I figured out that there are certain technologies which are being used to help people in their mental health journey. जैसे TDCS एक example है, which is used in extreme cases of depression, clinical depression. RTMS है. And that's how I stumbled upon these technologies. And after talking to them, I realized that there are products available out there, but Indian market में ऐसा कोई product नहीं. Plus आजकल अगर आप हमारे market options देखेंगे, people are using herbal supplements या फिर other nutraceutical supplements to calm down. But इसकी efficacy बहुत vary होती है from person to person. Then there are other mental health apps also which come, which help you with meditation, which help you through different kinds of music to help you calm down. But this also requires a lot of user effort from their side. कि मैं अपने busy life में से 10 मिनट निकालूं, then listen to the music, and उसके effects बहुत ज़्यादा temporary होते हैं, वो ज़्यादा long lasting होते नहीं है. Then people started to use these wearables, smart watch हो गए, आपके smart ring हो गए, to track their stress levels. However, ये जो stress pose होते हैं या फिर ये जो data होता है, इससे और stress बढ़ता है, because now you just have data and you don't know what exactly to do about it. So there was definitely a gap. I couldn't see a tangible solution as such, and that's why I decided I need to focus more on the hardware-based intervention, because that is something that would definitely act on the solution rather than just monitoring and recording it. So वहां से I decided that I want to build this variable that people can just carry it along with them. तो कहीं पर भी किसी को बहुत anxiety हो रही है, nervousness हो रही है, बहुत अजीब लग रहा है या फिर बस सो नहीं पा रहा है, as simple as that. They could use it and it will be completely non-invasive and completely safe to. So it had to be a medical device. That though we were definitely sure of. And then we started doing our research, spoke with doctors, did clinical trials, built the first prototype, user reviews लिए, users पे testing ली. मतलब मुझे लगता है हमने काफी सारा फीडबैक हमारे यूजर से जो आया, इट हैड बिन सो इंसाइटफुल कि हमने लिटरली 1.5 साल की जर्नी में पूरा प्रोडक्ट भी बना लिया एंड उसके नेसेसरी सर्टिफिकेशंस, उसका पूरा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग भी फिगर आउट किया था. सो दिस काइंड ऑफ स्पीड, दिस काइंड ऑफ ग्रोथ that we were able to achieve, I must say that I'm really, really proud of our company and our team that we were actually able to do.
Can you share some of those stories जो insightful feedback मिला आपको?
Yes, absolutely. So we had done our user pilots in different wellness centers, gyms across Bombay and Delhi. So obviously we didn't used to tell the users कि उन्हें क्या expect करना चाहिए, because then it creates a bias, it creates that effect कि अरे हाँ हाँ ये तो चलेगा ही. तो हमने पूरा मतलब blind testing किया था. ठीक है, वी डोंट इवन नो द यूजर कि वो इन जनरल मेंटल हेल्थ कितना सीरियसली लेते हैं, उनके लाइफ में क्या प्रॉब्लम्स है. बहुत बेसिक एक ओवरव्यू लिया था to understand about the physical health, the job profile, and then we had given them the session. So one of this guy we were doing a testing with, he actually burst into tears after using the device, and we were for a minute taken aback. हम भी थोड़ा सा शॉक हो गए कि क्योंकि ऐसा रिजल्ट तो बिल्कुल ही एंटिसिपेट नहीं किया था. यूजुअली हमारे रिव्यूज होते थे कि यस आई, it feels like meditation. It feels like I've suddenly become calm, I'm centered, अब मेरे दिमाग में इतने सारे thoughts नहीं है. It feels like that freshness you feel when you wake up early morning, वैसे feel हो रहा है. So these were some of the मतलब people were giving their own use cases and own words, in their own words they were describing, but he literally just started having tears in his eyes and he got so emotional and choked up. We asked him कि कैसा लगा आपको? Would you like to share your experience? So he said कि I've been dealing with anxiety for the past 14 years and this is the most calm that I've felt. मैं दवाइयाँ लेता था and मेरे पास कोई option नहीं है to continue the medication, but over the time इतना calmness feel होना, ऐसे लगता है जैसे मैं float हो रहा हूँ amongst the clouds. इतनी सारी चीजें चलती रहती है, कभी टाइम ही नहीं मिलता खुद के लिए ऐसा कुछ करने का. And this suddenly made me so calm, so centered that I could only focus on myself and nothing else. So this was the kind of feedback that we had received, and this kind of reviews and these feedbacks, talking with our real customers, it gives us more motivation to, actually pursue this and make the best product out there to hand it over to them.
Can you share a little about your first startup and how did you choose कि आपको entrepreneurship ही करनी है? Why not taken a corporate job after a degree?
Right. So, I'll tell you about my first startup. It was called Ivara. तो प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट ये था कि आज इंडिया में वाटर क्वालिटी टेस्टिंग कैसी होती है, बहुत ट्रेडिशनल वे में होती है कि आपके यहाँ एक बड़ी वाटर बॉडी है, वहां से आपको वाटर सैंपल कलेक्ट करना है, नियरेस्ट लैब में लेके आना है, द लैब टेक्नीशियंस विल रन सर्टेन टेस्ट एंड विद इन 3 days 4 days आपको लैब रिपोर्ट पूरा मिल जाएगा। बट इसमें प्रॉब्लम ये है कि ये जो 3 to 4 days का लैग है, इसमें होता क्या है कि इस पूरे ड्यूरेशन में वो वाटर बॉडी ऑलरेडी कंटामिनेट हो गई है, बिकॉज नेक्स्ट डे कुछ पोल्यूशन रिलेटेड केमिकल सब रिलीज कर दिए। तो देर इज नो रियल टाइम टेस्टिंग और देर इज नो फीडबैक लूप दैट वाज हैपनिंग। देन इसके वजह से आप वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट्स के लिए कुछ सोल्यूशन नहीं दे पा रहे, उनके पास इनफ डेटा नहीं है, बिकॉज नथिंग इज रियल टाइम डेटा, इट्स जस्ट ओवर द मंथ क्या water quality रही है, which is not really sufficient. So what we had decided to build was a hardware that could be installed in these water bodies, जो बहुत minimal sample collect करता रहेगा, 3 ml, 5 ml, and उस पे we had developed a system which would take microscopic images of these water samples. We had developed the whole system for it, and our AI algorithm would give you a first-hand analysis कि basic parameters क्या है, and is this water quality potable, what is the level of pollution, ये सब हम basic parameters जो आपको 3 दिन लगते थे वो हम आधे घंटे में देते थे. So that was a product we had built, and main consumers were your government labs, government research organizations जिनको routinely ये water quality testing करनी पड़ती है. Obviously there were a lot of challenges, like we had patented our technology, we had received our patent, but the market, I feel, water quality industry की जैसे कि आप बात करोगे तो वो ready नहीं था to invest in such kind of technologies, because labor is available in India, and there are no, see, water is freely available. तो it wasn't that kind of a need कि हाँ मुझे अभी ही ये parameters चाहिए which I can get 3 days later. It didn't really matter to me. So consumers were not willing to pay for such a solution, and eventually we realized that this is not going to scale. So that is when I decided to pivot and start a new company. We ran Ivara for almost 1.5 years के duration तक. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, I think as a student also, मैं all girls college में पढ़ी हूँ, and I was always involved in other fests, college projects. Robocon करके एक बहुत famous competition होती है all India level and international. So ours used to be the only all girls team there who would build robots of 25 kgs and compete with other colleges. So that had been, I had done it for almost 2 years. I would always be interested in doing something hands-on, something practical. And जब मैंने आइवारा पे काम स्टार्ट किया था in my final year, तब मैंने देखा कि जब मैं कोई प्रोडक्ट बना रही हूँ, जो भी मैं प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट सॉल्व कर रही हूँ, आई कुड लिटरली सी कि वो मेरे कंज्यूमर को कैसे इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है. So when I actually saw these researchers being so surprised and appreciating the product that I did for them, because it would save them time, it would save them money, this, the happiness that I could see on his face, and knowing that I built something that is actually impacting them, really, made me pull towards that drive ki, this is something that I could pursue. Job or just higher studies will always be there. I mean, I can always choose to go back, although I didn't. But I knew that this is something that really gave me that adrenaline rush, and it's now or never, basically. That's the opportunity that I want to chase. It's now or never. Otherwise, I won't be able to do it again. So yeah, that's why after college, I completely started working on my project, did Ivara, then started InnerGize, built a team, and now I'm so happy that our product is ready and we'll be launching it in the market.
So one more question is, from a perspective of a college student, how do you get ideas like from for the idea of Ivara? How did you got that idea, and how do you evaluate the idea कि इस पे टाइम लगाना है, ये हमको फुल टाइम एक पैसा दे सकता है? मैं इसमें आई
Right.
कैन गेट कैरियर आउट ऑफ इट, हाउ डू यू इवैल्यूएट दैट?
Yes, good question actually. So, see, when you're a college student, I would say कि एक होता है theoretical knowledge जो हम कर ही रहे, but in today's day and age हमारे पास जो access है, today you have chat GPT, today you have access to multiple opportunities if you go on LinkedIn. There are a lot of meetups and startup mixers. There are a lot of pitching competitions that go on, hackathons especially. तो यहाँ पे तो कंपनीज आके अपनी प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट देता है एंड दीज आर एक्चुअली अ प्रेसिंग प्रॉब्लम दैट दे रियली वांट टू सॉल्व. तो आपको यस यहाँ से आइडिया मिल सकता है. ऑफ कोर्स योर पर्सनल जर्नी, योर पर्सनल स्ट्रगल्स, मे बी you're facing a problem at home or you saw a problem students are facing and you want to really see what you can build for them and eventually see if it's scalable. That is one thing. But yes, I would really urge every college student out there to be more proactive. Talk to your, talk to your peers, talk to your lecturers, your professors. Go out in these hackathons and pitching competitions because these competitions, these platforms give you early validation. So maybe jab before I started Energize also and Ivara, because I was a student, I didn't have a lot of money. Like my family doesn't come from that background that I could ask them money to invest in my startup. So I used to go in these small competitions, pitch it. वहाँ पे आपको 10 minutes दिए जाते हैं to pitch your idea, present it, and they have a very esteemed jury there to judge your idea, give you feedback. तो यहाँ से मैं feedback लेती थी. And if there was somebody who was really interested in that solution, I would connect with them offline, talk more with them, see if I could run a pilot or give them a demo of my solution. तो ये तो करना ही चाहिए because this gives you early validation and gives you that early practice also कि जब आप आगे जाके भी कहीं fundraising कर रहे हैं या you want to target a major customer, this gives you a good trial run to do that. So I have done exactly that, like pitch at competitions, just wherever you can pitch, answer the questions. आपको पर्सपेक्टिव समझ में आता है कि आप तो एक प्रोडक्ट बिल्ड कर रहे हो तो आपके दिमाग में एक बायस है, बट सामने वाला उसको कैसे देख रहा है, कैसे परसीव कर रहा है, उनके दिमाग में क्या डाउट्स है. तो दिस गिव्स यू दैट अर्ली फीडबैक and then you can eventually start working towards it. So that is one thing. And I feel when it comes to judge if this particular idea will be successful or not, is it really depends on what groundwork you do. तो जैसे कि आइवारा के टाइम आई थिंक हमने सफिशिएंट, मतलब वी न्यू दैट दिस इज अ प्रेसिंग प्रॉब्लम दैट पीपल वुड लाइक टू सॉल्व एंड हैव अ सॉल्यूशन, बट हमने तब पूरा मार्केट एनालिसिस किया नहीं था कि वाटर इंडस्ट्री एज सच कितनी बड़ी है, वेयर डू आई सी दिस गोइंग इन 5 years, if I want to run a company, so am I actually willing to dedicate those 5 years, those 10 years of my life to actually see it successful. तो ये आई थिंक जजमेंट, आपका मार्केट कितना बड़ा है, आप कितनी अर्जेंट प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहे हो, इज इट जस्ट अ पेन किलर और इज इट एक्चुअली something just good to have kind of a thing, that you have to analyze. And I think once you jump into it, once you just get out of that classroom, go out of your way to talk to people, talk to consumers, actually spend time building a product, giving them a demo, I think that's the most effective way to get a judgment whether this would work or not, or whether this kind of a solution is something that people really are willing to buy. So without trying out, without experiencing it, actually कोई आपको बता नहीं सकता है खाली सिर्फ आइडिया से. So my advice would definitely be to jump into it, build it, fail faster. It's okay if you realize midway that no, it's not working. It's never too late to pivot. We are a huge nation and we have a lot of problems to focus on. तो आप हमेशा एक कोई ना कोई दूसरा प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट तो ढूंढ ही सकते हो.
व्हाइल स्टार्टिंग अ स्टार्टअप, सपोज इनरगाइज, क्या कभी
हम्म.
आपको ऐसा सेल्फ डाउट हुआ है कि आई वुड बी नॉट बी एबल टू मेक अ कैरियर आउट ऑफ इट, या फिर कभी ज्यादा ही सेल्फ ऑब्जेशन हुआ है अपने आइडिया के लिए?
See, being an entrepreneur, I'll tell you, self-doubt is always going to be there. Like there are going to be incidents जहाँ पे self-doubts आएंगे ही आएंगे. But eventually, what I've learned over this whole time building Energize is you have to trust the process. आप क्या build कर रहे हो, whether it will work or not, ये आपको भी नहीं पता, आपके investor को भी नहीं पता. But unless you jump into it, unless you actually make it happen, you'll never be able to figure it out. So I think the only solution to this is stop overthinking and just get the work done. You'll eventually find your answers. And जब opportunity होती है, जब एक प्रेसिंग नीड है, एक पुल है फ्रॉम द कस्टमर्स, दैट प्रोडक्ट विल डेफिनेटली वर्क। तो मैं यही ट्राई करती हूँ कि whenever I get any self doubt or I'm overthinking too much, I just focus on, you know, focusing on what is important right now and just getting the work done, just get to the next step. So that is what I usually try to follow.
व्हाट इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ को-फाउंडर्स पे बताओगे? एंड हाउ डिड यू फाउंड योर, मतलब आपको कैसे मिले अपने को-फाउंडर्स? एंड
Definitely, definitely.
हाउ डिड यू चूज़ कि मुझे इस इंसान के साथ या इस टीम के साथ आई कैन बिल्ड माय होल करियर, बिकॉज़ इट्स एन इम्पोर्टेंट डिसीजन फॉर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Very good question. So, see, I'll tell you, as an entrepreneur, you can't do everything. You have certain skill sets. आपको भी लगता है यार मुझे बिजनेस के बारे में भी पता होना चाहिए, मुझे कोडिंग के बारे में भी पता होना चाहिए, मुझे मार्केटिंग का भी पता होना चाहिए. Yes, you should learn everything and you should actually work in all of these departments. You have to anyways, क्योंकि स्टार्टअप में कभी कोई फिक्स्ड रोल नहीं होता. Yes, you will be one major aspect of the department you'll be focused on, but you are going to do everything, right? From hiring to actually building to actually sales, you are going to do everything. But you need a very, very strong team who is dedicated towards the same vision, working towards it. And I can tell you firsthand from my experience ki, having those right co-founders who give you that perspective, who are committed to your company as committed as you are, is really really important. तो मैं जब मेरी बात आती है तो आईवारा के टाइम तो आई हैड स्टार्टेड विद माय कॉलेज फ्रेंड ओनली बिकॉज वी हैड नोन ईच अदर फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम एंड we both wanted to do a startup. But for Energize, when I was pitching, so initially तो I was alone only. तो जब आईवारा के last days में I was still pitching and I was still seeing कि इसको कैसे workout कर सकते हैं. And at that time, at one of the competitions, Siddhant was actually there as a guest speaker. So I had heard him and I knew about him way before, but I had approached him there after the competition and we had a talk. This is what I'm building and everything, and I'd really like to stay in touch with you because I'll tell you, Siddhant comes with so much experience and just his business acumen, his in general, his soft skills and his understanding about the industry was really spot on. And in general, as a personality, I mean, you would really, really want to work with him. He's that kind of a guy. So I had approached him, and we stayed in touch. And तब जब मुझे energize करना था, I knew कि वो मैं अकेले तो नहीं कर पाऊंगी. I needed somebody who had a very good hold. Like I come from a hardware background, right? Instrumentation and control. तो मेरे को product and hardware तो मैं बना लूंगी. But जो software है, जो technology है, algorithm है, उसमें I needed someone and someone with a very strong hand. तो तब दिल्ली में एक hackathon में I had met Mitansh and he had won that hackathon. तो यूजुअली सब टीम मेंबर्स एंड सब पार्टिसिपेंट्स के लिए बाद में एक लंच वगैरह ऑर्गेनाइज होता है तो एट दैट टाइम आई हैड वॉक टू हिम एंड स्पोक विद हिम कि आई सॉ योर आइडिया एंड आई थिंक दैट्स रियली इंटरेस्टिंग दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई एम inclined towards building. If you are not doing something else, would you like to catch up later and we can discuss on this, brainstorm on this. तब literally Mitansh was still in his final year, so he hasn't even graduated. तो मैंने तो तभी से वी हैड स्टार्टेड टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस बिल्डिंग द आइडिया. तब उसके कॉलेज से हमें बहुत इनिशियल सपोर्ट जो चाहिए था वो मिला था. एंड देन आई स्पोक टू सिद्धांत ऑल्सो अबाउट दिस दैट we have a very small team, we are doing this early product prototype validate ho gaya hai, what are your thoughts, I really want to take this forward. And Siddhant was really impressed by it. He said, let me connect you with more such clinics and hospitals, get it tested there, do this, do that. He guided us. And we knew that we wanted to build a B2C business. And who knows better B2C than Siddhant? तो तब हमने उनको एक्चुअली पिच किया था एंड ही वाज स्टिल वर्किंग एट फूड दर्जी हिज प्रीवियस स्टार्टअप. तो उनको भी यहाँ आने में टू कम टू एनर्जाइज सारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज हैंड ओवर करने में 1 साल लगा था. तो फाइनली ही हैड जॉइंड अस. फिर हमारा सारा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग वगैरह सेटअप हो गया था, फंड रेजिंग एंड एवरीथिंग हैड हैपेंड. And then we all moved to Delhi because my early team, जब मैं मितान से मिली थी तब से my early team was based out of Delhi. So, and these, by the way, these team members are still with us because all of these members are so committed towards this vision and they See, this problem about mental health is really relatable with everyone. Everybody faces it. So they were also very excited, and it was actually a challenge for them also to really pursue and solve for it. So तब से फिर we decided to come to Delhi, and I came to Delhi from Pune, and Siddhant also moved from Bombay to Delhi, and we set up here.
Any reason for Delhi?
नो एनी पर्टिकुलर रीजन एक्चुअली, वही की अर्ली टीम मेरी वहीं पे बन गई थी, एंड वी हैड मेड अ गुड प्रोग्रेस आल्सो देयर, सो आई थॉट व्हाई टू शिफ्ट समवेयर एल्स व्हेन मेरा एक बेस ऑलरेडी बन चुका है वहां पे. तो दैट्स व्हाई वी जस्ट डिसाइडेड टू शिफ्ट देयर बिकॉज आवर अर्ली टीम मेंबर्स वर देयर. अर्ली वैलिडेशन एंड कॉन्टैक्ट यहाँ पे सब हो गया था, तो इट मेड मोर सेंस टू जस्ट मूव देयर रादर देन लुक फॉर अनदर प्लेस समवेयर एल्स.
Can we know execution journey of InnerGize जो आपने 1.5 से 2 साल लगाए to from scratch to product building? Can
Yes,
you know
yes,
that?
absolutely. So first, of course, it starts with research. We went through all clinical trials. There are almost 5,000 peer-reviewed research papers which have done clinical trials, third party on vagus nerve stimulation. So initially, yes, we were researching a lot about other technologies that are out there, as I had mentioned, TDCS, RTMS. बट आई न्यू कि ऐसे टेक्नोलॉजी को मैं एक वेरिएबल फॉर्मेट में कभी नहीं ले पाऊंगी, बिकॉज people won't be really comfortable to really put on something on their forehead. It would be very bulky, and if you're not building a very ergonomic product, if you're not building something which is really user friendly, तो वो स्टिकीनेस चला जाता है यूजर का. जब यूजर को दिखता दिखता है कि उनके साइड से बहुत यूजर एफर्ट्स डालने पड़ेंगे, तो दे इवेंचुअली स्टॉप यूजिंग दैट प्रोडक्ट, एंड फिर वो उनके घर के ड्रॉर में पड़ा रहता है. So I knew I didn't want to do this. It has to be a very stylish wearable that they can flaunt it. If they want to keep it discreet, it should stay discreet. So it has to be miniaturized to that level. So after going through a lot of research, talking with doctors, going through clinical trial papers, we decided that vagus nerve stimulation is actually the real deal. We knew we wanted to harness this technology because so it is already FDA approved. Second, it was already being used by neurologists and psychologists. तो validation तो वहीं पे हो गया था. But now the main challenge was that how do you actually harness that into a small, teeny tiny product? तो वहां से I'd say the main challenge was miniaturization. किसी भी hardware के लिए miniaturizing it to that level is a huge challenge, and it incurs a lot of cost and time as well. तो मैंने अपनी टीम लगाई थी on miniaturizing the hardware, selecting the right components, testing it multiple times. तो वहां पे हमारा काफी टाइम गया था. Once we had gotten the first version ready, we had sent it for testing, user testing. फिर हमने feedback लिए users से. तो users ने भी बोला कि इसका ना थोड़ा सा weight कम करो तो और अच्छा होता. Maybe add this, maybe that वगैरह. तो we started incorporating these changes. Then finally हमारे designs final हुए. We got the early devices manufactured, sent them for clinical trials, did all the safety testings. So एक thing मेरे को बहुत पहले से clear थी that I want to be a clinically backed company. I'll never follow that route जो बस एक anecdotal evidence देती है. It has to be clinically backed with clinical trials and backed by doctors. तो हमने पूरा start to end clinical trials किए. We have जैसे FDA है USA में, वैसे ही हमारे इंडिया में CDSCO एक रेगुलेटरी बॉडी है, तो उनका सर्टिफिकेशन है हमारे पास एज अ मेडिकल डिवाइस फॉर एनर्जाइज. वी डिड दी रेगुलर सेफ्टी टेस्टिंग्स, जो इंटरनेशनल टेस्टिंग्स होती है वो हमने किया अपने डिवाइस पे. तो दिस हैज बीन दी ओवरऑल जर्नी, लाइक राइट फ्रॉम रिसर्च टू प्रोटोटाइपिंग, यूजर रिव्यूज टू फाइनल regulations and compliances.
Can you explain vagus nerve stimulation? We don't know anything about it. We are not technical.
यस, या एब्सोल्युटली. तो बेसिकली हमारी बॉडी की जो नर्वस सिस्टम है उसके दो पार्ट्स होते हैं. एक है सिंपैथेटिक, दूसरा है पैरासिम्पैथेटिक. तो सिंपैथेटिक क्या करता है कि आपके डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज जो होते हैं, आपको जो एनर्जी चाहिए वो आपको सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम देता है. तो कोई भी एक्टिविटी करना हो, काम करना हो, ड्राइव करना हो, कोई भी अगर स्ट्रेसफुल मीटिंग है, जो स्ट्रेस आपको आ रहा है वो एक्चुअली सिंपैथेटिक की वजह से आ रहा है. So sympathetic is basically fight and flight response. Any work you do all the time, wherever energy that you need, sympathetic is giving that. Your body is made in such a way कि ये जो sympathetic activity चल रही है आपकी, उसको बैलेंस आउट करने के लिए पैरासिम्पैथेटिक दी है. पैरासिम्पैथेटिक का क्या फंक्शन है? to allow you to rest, to calm down, to help you sleep. So everything rest and relax is parasympathetic. अभी रियलिटी ये है कि काफी साल मतलब 50 साल पहले आपकी ये दोनों सिस्टम्स वेरी वेरी एक्टिव थी कि अगर कोई सिंपैथेटिक एक्टिविटी आपने की है दिन भर तो उसको पैरासिम्पैथेटिक ऑटोमेटिकली बैलेंस आउट कर देता था बट अभी के एज में अभी के लाइफस्टाइल में हुआ ये है कि आप कॉन्स्टेंटली सिंपैथेटिक ओवरड्राइव में रहते हो देयर इज ऑलवेज सम काइंड ऑफ स्टिमुलस अराउंड यू आप कुछ काम कर रहे हैं बट आपके फोन पे नोटिफिकेशंस आ रहे हैं देयर ट्रैफिक देयर करियर स्ट्रेस देयर फैमिली स्ट्रेस कुछ ना कुछ तो चल ही रहा है whenever you try to go to sleep आप doom scrolling कर रहे हो आप फोन पे कुछ कर रहे हो इंस्टाग्राम स्क्रॉल कर रहे हो you yourself are not able to allow your parasympathetic nervous system to do its job तो वो पूरा सप्रेस हो जाता है तो इस समय में इस पूरे सिस्टम में एक बहुत क्रूशियल नर्व है वेगस नर्व करके वेगस नर्व आपके कान के पीछे से जाती है फ्रॉम बोथ साइड्स which is then connected to all other organs of your body vagus nerve का it's the main nerve which connects to the parasympathetic nervous system so it's like an on and off switch for your parasympathetic nervous system ऐसे बात करें तो ये वेगस नर्व जब एक्टिवेट होती है तब it sends signals to the parasympathetic nervous system to activate and that gives a message to the brain कि, just calm down stop everything that you are doing get your mind out of that hustle and just calm down सो जो आपके बॉडी को नेचुरली करना चाहिए वो आज नहीं कर पा रही सो व्हेन आई एम स्टिमुलेटिंग द वेगस नर्व तो बेसिकली क्या होता है बहुत जेंटल माइक्रो करंट्स होते हैं आवर ब्रेन कम्युनिकेट्स इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी राइट so this just basically nudges your parasympathetic nervous system ki boss it's time to just rest and relax stop doing any other work that you're doing so this then eventually puts your body into that zone to just calm down slow down and relax अगर आप सोने जा रहे हो तो it will put you in that zone to actually sleep like stop your doom scrolling and just actually go to sleep so that is basically what vagus nerve stimulation does.
And any feedbacks from the mental health experts or from the organization which you said which approved it? Any feedback from them which you would like to share here?
Not particularly like a feedback, but yes, I mean, they've really helped us with foolproofing the technology and make the device more effective. See, main challenge apart from the whole miniaturization and everything was reproducibility. मेरा डिवाइस आज कोई भी अगर यूज करे तो सेम रिजल्ट्स आने चाहिए ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि एक चीज एक के लिए वर्क करे दूसरे के लिए वर्क ही नहीं कर रही तो वी हैव टू मेक द प्रोडक्ट इन दैट वे कि आपके स्ट्रेस लेवल्स के हिसाब से वेदर यू आर टू स्ट्रेस और वेदर इवन यू आर माइल्डली स्ट्रेस एंड यू जस्ट वांट टू टेक अ ब्रेक यू आर नॉट एबल टू काम डाउन उस केस में भी वो आपके लिए वर्क होना चाहिए तो वो पर्सनलाइजेशन एलिमेंट जो है वो हमने यहाँ लाने की कोशिश की है एंड आई थिंक दैट इज ऑल्सो वन थिंग दैट अ लॉट ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स लैक जब पर्सनलाइजेशन नहीं होता तो यूजर साइड से बहुत एफर्ट्स डालने पड़ते तो हाउ कैन वी जस्ट रिमूव दैट गैप मेक द अडेप्टेबिलिटी मोर इजी तो ये पूरा पर्सनलाइजेशन एलिमेंट हमने ऐड किया अपार्ट फ्रॉम द डिवाइस वी ऑल्सो हैव एन ऐप तो ये ऐप से पूरा डिवाइस कंट्रोल होता है इन द ऐप वी हैव टू मोड्स स्लीप एंड रिलैक्स सो वेदर यू वांट टू स्लीप तो स्लीप के हिसाब से फ्रीक्वेंसी सेट है उसके हिसाब से 10 मिनट सेशंस हमारे क्यूरेटेड है इफ यू वांट टू रिलैक्स यू यूज दैट मोड एंड नॉट जस्ट दैट अगर आप कोई वेरेबल यूज कर रहे हो लाइक लेट्स से स्मार्ट वॉच स्मार्ट रिंग वो इजीली हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म से कनेक्ट हो जाती है तो इट कैन एक्चुअली एनालाइज योर डेटा कि आप दिन में आपका हार्ट रेट क्या था कौन से पॉइंट्स पे आप सबसे ज्यादा स्ट्रेस थे आपकी स्लीप साइकिल कैसी रही है और इसको इम्प्रूव करने के लिए हम आपको नजेस देंगे कि आपका गोल था टू गो टू स्लीप बाय 10 p.m. बट यू आर नॉट एबल टू डू इट फॉर द पास्ट 3 days व्हाई डोंट यू टेक एनर्जाइज सेशन एट 9:30 so that you will be able to fall asleep by 10 तो ये पूरा लूप जो कंप्लीट करना है वो हम कर रहे हैं एनर्जाइज के साथ एंड आई थिंक दैट गिव्स अस मोर वी आर एबल टू गिव दैट वैल्यू एड टू द कस्टमर कि आपके जो वेरिएबल्स है उसका बस आप डेटा नहीं लो बट एक्चुअली यू गेट अ सोल्यूशन टू एक्ट अपॉन इट सो दैट इज समथिंग दैट वी ट्राई टू बिल्ड हियर
Any challenges in manufacturing in India did you face? Like in my college
yes
times, worked on Arduino, Node MCU, Raspberry Pi, and like everyone works, I think, a electronic student. So, but making a product which is viable for market, launch ready product. Did you face any challenges in manufacturing it in India?
100%. I mean, I think for any hardware startup and especially if you're building your medtech startup, ये एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज होता है टू figure out your manufacturing setting up your supply chain and everything. And we also took a lot of, time and learnings. We had to spoke to a lot of people, experts to get these things done. Especially जब आप एक capital crunch पे होते हो, as a startup, you don't have a lot of money and lot of resources. And manufacturing figure out करना, वो setup करना, it takes a heavy sum of money. तो जब भी हम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर्स के पास जा रहे थे, एक तो वी वर बिल्डिंग अ मेडिकल डिवाइस, तो हर एक मेडिकल डिवाइस को ISO 13485 का सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए, दैट इट हैज बीन सर्टिफाइड, मैन्युफैक्चर्ड फ्रॉम अ सर्टिफाइड लैब ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग। एंड ऐसे लैब्स बहुत कम है इंडिया में। तो whenever we used to actually approach them, go visit their facility, they would quote very high MOQs, जो हमारे लिए possible ही नहीं था to invest that kind of money and handle that inventory. So we spoke to experts. Our team sat on the actual product design कि इसका assembly हम कितना आसान कर सकते हैं, what are the other tweaks that we can do, what are the components that we can source जो बहुत dependency नहीं बढ़ाएंगे. So carefully selecting those right components, making the design process simpler, assembly process simpler, बिकॉज मिनिएचराइज जब भी आप करते हो तो और ज्यादा आपको एक्यूरेसी एंड इंट्रिकेसीज चाहिए whenever you're getting it manufactured, whenever you're getting your molds made. तो वो हमने बहुत पर्सनली जाके टाइम लिया, फिगर्ड आउट वेयर वी वांट टू गेट इट मैन्युफैक्चर्ड, कहाँ से हमें बेस्ट रिजल्ट्स मिलेंगे, एंड देन इवेंचुअली वी टुक अ डिसीजन दैट विल बिल्ड आवर ओन ISO 13485 फैसिलिटी। तो दिल्ली में ही हमने हमारी खुद की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग स्मॉल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेटअप किया है, which has a capacity to manufacture 5,000 devices per month. So, and the product lead time is also very less, like around 20 to 21 days. So, once the whole material comes up, the complete procurement, the assembly, everything would take place there. So, that is what we eventually decided, because that gives us much more control over the supply chain and also the IP protection. So,
मैन्युफैक्चरिंग
I would
करते
say,
हुए, या प्लीज
yeah, so
कंटिन्यू।
I would, in the end, I would just say it really depends on the product, the kind of product that you're building. Uh, Things get more sensitive when you are building a medical device, especially. But for any hardware startup, I'd say that is one of the challenges and hurdles we face.
Did you imported any parts from China?
No, not really. I mean, the kind of components that we sourced were readily available, तो हमें उसमें तो ज़्यादा कुछ issue नहीं आया था. There are certain components जिस पे आपको बाहर से import करना पड़ता है. But apart from that, I think हमें ज़्यादा मतलब ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ी. Most of the things that our device includes are made here itself. And because we tested ourselves, we get it tested from the international standard certified labs, so we ensure कि सारी चीजें top notch quality थे.
क्या इंडिया में अगर किसी बच्चे को या कॉलेज के स्टूडेंट को प्रोडक्ट बिल्डिंग करनी है, तो क्या इंडिया में प्रोडक्ट रेडी कंपोनेंट्स अवेलेबल हैं?
Yes, yes, they are readily available. You can, search for it, and but it might take some time, but depends on the kind of complexity you are looking at. What is the kind of miniaturization you want to do? Sometimes people just want to, build the first version out, see the response, and then eventually see if they want to miniaturize or not. So ये भी एक call होता है. But yes, you can definitely do it. Not an issue.
Coming to the Shark Tank, how was the experience about?
Oh, Shark Tank was definitely an unforgettable experience. I must say we were very nervous. We were still pre-revenue. We were about to launch our pre-orders when we had gone on Shark Tank. The product was ready. But यही था कि as a product when you go to pre-revenue stage, we knew that हमें बस एक pitch नहीं करना है, हमें अपना product भी prove करना है वहां पे जाके. So it's not just that you pitch, you tell stories, you actually have to, yeah, like prove the efficacy of your product also. And that's when we decided to do a live EEG on the Shark Tank platform. And yeah, I mean, it was nerve-wracking, but it was very exciting also. It's a once in a lifetime experience, I must say. And when the episode came out, in the first week of airing only our episode had come out, and the response that we've got, it was really overwhelming. मतलब जब लोग actually relate कर रहे थे, people were sharing the stories कि, and people were also asking a lot of questions. Like believe me, जब हमने pre-orders launch किए थे तब, after Shark Tank, within 4 days, our pre-orders got sold out. And हमें इतने inquiries आ रहे थे, हम लोग customers के साथ calls पे थे, And they would ask questions कि मेरे लिए तो मैं ले ही रहा हूँ, but मेरी जो wife है, she also overthinks a lot, and I really want to get something for her. So can I buy this one? And all of these questions, like we didn't expect this kind of response, but we were so happy that people are relating it to it, and people really want to get their hands on something like this. So that was a very good experience, I must say, definitely.
जो होल पिच होती है वो 90 टू 120 मिनट्स की होती है, जैसे मैंने सोचा, एंड इट इज रिड्यूस्ड टू 20 मिनट्स व्हेन इट
Correct.
इज। तो एनी बिहाइंड द सीन स्टोरीज व्हिच यू वुड लाइक टू शेयर?
सो पूरे पिच में यू आर राइट, मतलब ऑब्वियसली व्हाट यू सी ऑन टेलीविजन इज अ वेरी शॉर्ट वर्जन, बट ऑलमोस्ट 1 घंटा तक, 1 डेढ़ घंटे तक चीजें चल रही होती है, एंड यू गेट दैट टाइम टू प्रूव योर प्रोडक्ट, टॉक अबाउट इट, आंसर एनी क्वेश्चंस. तो हम तो यूजुअली, मतलब हमारे ऊपर जो क्वेश्चंस आए थे वर मोर टेक रिलेटेड, मोर फोकस्ड ऑन द एफिकेसी, द सेफ्टी. We actually wanted to see, if we could try it on the sharks at that time, but they were so curious about the technologies, and they really wanted to discuss few things, and सब question answers में ही इतना time चला गया कि हमें पता ही नहीं चला. And then we got the first offer. So when we got that first offer, we were like so nervous. कि, okay, what will he say? What will he say? And he actually like gave the offer that we really had come and pitched. So that was, we were really happy. And I would say what is not unexpected was जो judges ने हमें support दिखाया after listening to our personal journeys. That was really, really touching for us. I mean, the kind of feedback they gave, the way they appreciated it, the way they resonated with the mission was really, really heartfelt moment.
कोई बिहाइंड द सीन्स मोमेंट्स जो एयर नहीं हुई, मतलब जो ऑडियंस ने नहीं
Uh,
देखी?
no, I mean, it was more or less on these lines only. It was more on questions back and forth कि ये इसके बारे में बताओ, इसके बारे में बताओ. But yeah, I think the condensed version eventually showed कि what we were trying to build, more about the founders and why they are trying to build it. So yeah, that was overall the gist.
शार्क्स की एडवाइसेस के बाद बिजनेस में कुछ चेंजेस किए आपने आफ्टर द एपिसोड, आफ्टर द शार्क
Yes,
टैंक?
yes, definitely. I mean, we had a chance to meet Aman, and we have been in touch with Ritesh Agarwal and Azhar Iqubal as well. They have been really, really helpful. We got very good marketing advices from Aman. Plus, meeting him in person after the Shark Tank was like really surreal. I mean, I never thought 2 years ago when I was building Ivara that one day I'll go on Shark Tank and meet these people. But yes, I mean, absolutely, they've been really, really helpful, and they've been guiding us. So, and they have stayed in touch with us also. So, yes, overall, it has been like a very fulfilling experience.
उनसे मिली हुई लर्निंग्स कुछ शेयर करना चाहोगे?
Yes, I mean, of course, it was more on the marketing, more on the strategy कि आगे कैसे बढ़ना है, because we are still at the pre-order stage, right? इंडिया में pre-orders का concept इतना known नहीं है. If you go to US and other markets, people will be still willing to pay for a thing that they would get 2 months, 3 months later. But इंडिया में वो कैसे anticipate होगा हमें नहीं पता था. But when we found out that we have actually sold out within just 4 days, which shows कि customers knowing कि उनको product अभी नहीं मिल रहा है, 3 महीने बाद मिल रहा है, still they were willing to pay for it. इतना urgent problem था उनके लिए. तो yes, mostly on the marketing, the strategy building कि हम कैसे ये सारा pre-orders क्या target कर रहे हैं, after the launch हमें क्या target करना है, more on the P2P side. So these were more of strategy and advising that we had meetings with.
कोई मेंटल हेल्थ के मिथ्स तोड़ना चाहते हो ऑन द पॉडकास्ट?
That stress is normal. Stress is not normal. I think what usually ends up happening is कि हम एक चीज बहुत ignore कर देते हैं, and when it gets us in a really bad shape, that is when we actually try and do something about it. So because I'm talking this from a personal experience, I think, see, there are usually two types of stress. एक होता है EU stress, which is a good part of stress. कि जो आप पे थोड़ा वो बोलते हैं ना कि अरे मैं प्रेशर में आता हूँ तो मैं अच्छा काम करता हूँ. Which it's a good part of stress because it helps you feel responsible. It pushes you to your optimal level to get that level of productivity out of you, which is a good part of stress. But when you cross that barrier, there's a distress part of it, and that is more disturbing. The kind of overthinking you get into, constantly worrying about things, your heart is racing, palpitation, you're not able to sleep, eventually you stop even eating food, sleeping on time. These are more, the physical ramifications and the more harmful side of stress. एंड लोग बहुत नॉर्मलाइज करते हैं कि मेरे को नींद नहीं आती, मैं 2 दिन से सोई नहीं हूँ, नॉर्मली तो है। ये तो हसल कल्चर में चलता ही है कि आई हैव टू बी अप 24/7 एंड वर्क। ऐसा नहीं है। You should catch these early signs because this might manifest into something, and we don't want that. It would be too late to actually start working on it. Mental health, living a peaceful life is everybody's right. So you don't really have to normalize this working condition कि अरे stress तो normal है.
Are
So I
you
think that's one myth that I would like to.
इंडिया में मेंटल हेल्थ अवेयरनेस उतनी नहीं है जैसे कि आपने बताया। पीपल थिंक स्ट्रेस इज नॉर्मल। तो आर यू डूइंग एनीथिंग टू अवेयर द masses?
Yes, yes, definitely. I mean, that is one huge part of our content and marketing also, that we have to create awareness about mental health. So we have a panel of our own medical advisors, of psychiatrists, psychologists, neurologists. So unke through, just breaking down simple facts, making people aware about the early symptoms, what you can do about it. So all these things are a part of our, content, and basically putting out the information, because people like the, if you look at the younger generation, जैसे वो Gen Z है या millennials है, they do actively acknowledge that yes, they have stress and they want to do something about it, but not necessarily everybody agrees with it or resonates. So you have to do education based content, make people aware about it, and in fact we have also called our customers. So जिन लोगों ने प्रोडक्ट भी खरीदा है, उसके बाद भी हमने उनको पर्सनली कॉल किया है टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट वाज देयर मोटिव to buy this product and what are their problems and how Energize can actually fix them. So we had actually sit down and like personally called everyone who had purchased Energize. So yes, these are some of the activities and the kind of content or branding in general, what we are doing currently to help spread awareness.
कुछ स्टोरीज शेयर करना चाहोगे आपको किसी कस्टमर की सुनने को मिली हो?
Oh, yes. I mean, that day only, like I had mentioned, that we were speaking to someone, and they were saying कि, मुझे ना मेरी फैमिली के लिए लेना है, because अगर मेरी फैमिली थोड़ी लेस स्ट्रेस रहेगी तो मैं थोड़ा लेस स्ट्रेस रहूंगा। तो क्या ये यूज कर सकते हैं, क्या ये इस पे चलेगा, क्या ये उस पे चलेगा, like we had like good 45 minutes conversation on it, and then he actually went and placed some pre-order for our device, and उन्होंने अपनी बेटी के लिए एक लाइलैक कलर का चूज किया था, अपने लिए ग्रे कलर का डिवाइस चूज किया था। सो आई वाज सो हैप्पी दैट पीपल वर एक्चुअली able to see that value add in our product, and they were actually placing the pre-order knowing कि ये product मुझे 3 महीने बाद मिलेगा, but knowing that it is solving the problem, seeing that they were putting so much faith in us, uh, it really motivated us, and it really makes you feel fulfilled. Yes, I'm actually doing something worthwhile.
वेगस नर्व स्टिमुलेशन एज वी नो 30+ ईयर्स से यूज हो रहा है।
Yeah.
एंड कैन यू नो कि इनर गाइज से पहले वो कैसे यूज हो रहा था?
Right. So, vagus nerve stimulation, पहले, like 30 साल पहले, it used to be in the invasive form. Invasive form का मतलब है कि यहाँ पे आपके neck पे slit करते थे doctors, and then they would place a pacemaker to actually stimulate the vagus nerve. But this was done in very high cases of epilepsy, insomnia, depression वगैरह. Eventually, what happened was that people started working towards the non-invasive form, because not everybody could have a surgery. So people started researching on the non-invasive format. So mostly there are products, so there are therapies which do double side stimulation. तो यहाँ पे जेल जो ECG जेल रहता है आपका, यहाँ पे वो जेल लगा के they would stimulate your vagus nerve for 30 minutes. There is a company in the US called Gamma Core, जो एक handheld massager type product देती है. So anytime you're having a migraine or a very intense cluster headache, you just apply that hydrogel over your neck and stimulate it for 10 minutes. But इसमें problem वही है कि there's no feedback that is available to the user. सब handheld है, the devices are bulky, तो आप actually public में जाके ऐसा कुछ कर नहीं सकते. So there was no personalization, the product is not handy, so eventually the user might stop working with the device. We don't know really. So Then there were some products that were coming out, which people have built a neck band that will help you stimulate your vagus nerve. There is a like a physical device. It's like a size of this huge, device which you would place on your chest, and then it would, through physical vibrations, it will help you stimulate your vagus nerve, etc. So abhi abhi, because awareness बहुत बड़ा है and people are recognizing the need to take mental health seriously, all of these products have been coming out which are focused on vagus stimulation.
एक क्वेश्चन कि कुछ लोग इस टेक्नोलॉजी को लाइक एक डिवाइस को अपने पर्सनल लाइफ में रेगुलर लाइफ में इंटीग्रेट करने को एक स्केप्टिकल वे में देखेंगे, मतलब
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल.
नहीं लेंगे। तो हैव यू सीन एनी स्टोरीज और हाउ विल यू बिल्ड ट्रस्ट एंड कि ये एक साइंटिफिकली बैक्ड प्रोडक्ट है?
Yes, yes. Very good question. So when we started building the device, we knew कि skepticism रहेगा. There will be naysayers who will come out and say कि यार ये ऐसे थोड़ी होता है and we won't use it. This is very scary and stuff. तो जो हमारी placement भी है, if you'd see, it's more on behind the ear. It's not something that is very visible or it's something that you just have to wear like a headband or something. तो हमने पूरा प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन एंड प्लेसमेंट ही रिसर्च कर करके ऐसे फिगर आउट किया है कि एवरी टाइम इट विल गिव यू रिप्रोड्यूसिबल रिजल्ट्स, एफिकेसी सेम रहेगी एंड आपको लगाने में और प्रोडक्ट उतारने में भी बहुत आसानी रहेगी. तो दैट इज वन पार्ट. द सेकेंड पार्ट व्हेन इट कम्स टू टेक्नोलॉजी इज about the vagus nerve stimulation. So one part, as you rightly said, has to be about the education, raising the awareness. हमने इसलिए क्लिनिकल फर्स्ट का पाथ लिया था कि all our clinical trials need to be backed. It has to be backed by doctors. We need to get all the safety standards in place and ensure that the device is safe for anyone to use. But yes, despite raising such awareness, people will still not be willing to try out a product, and it is understandable. तो इसके लिए हम क्या कर रहे हैं? तो वन, तो अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करना तो हो ही गया. बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, we also want the users to just try out the product once. Unless and until you experience it, you really don't know whether this kind of thing will work for you or not. So I think experience is more important here. So we have started doing offline marketing also, where we have set up booths, we have invited people, focus groups to come and try out the product, get their feedback, understand their experience, and then eventually make a decision. So ये एक चीज हो गई. Plus, I think it depends a lot on how you brand it, on how you market it, apart from just being clinically backed. जैसे मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देती हूँ. CGMs, जो continuous glucose monitors होते थे, it was usually meant for diabetic people only. But when Ultrahuman came and when they changed the complete narrative about it, every healthy individual today is using CGM and tracking their blood glucose levels, not just diabetic. तो जितने Abbott Libre, जो Freestyle Libre का सेंसर है, in itself it would not reach people जितना अल्ट्रा ह्यूमन ने वो सेंसर पहुंचाया है हर घर में. So it depends on how you brand it, what value prop you're actually bringing to the table. And I think with our proposition, with the whole app, with the device, I think it gives the user much more benefit than just they are currently thinking. Like, it's not something that's going to work with for them. It's something that can be easily integrated in their lifestyle and eventually become a part of it. Like, वेगस नर्व स्टिमुलेशन, लोगों को लगता है कि हम कुछ अलग कर रहे हैं, बहुत अननेचुरल कर रहे हैं. तो नो, इट्स नॉट समथिंग वेरी अननेचुरल. हम वही कर रहे हैं जो आपको बॉडी को करना चाहिए. तो वी आर जस्ट गिविंग यू दैट नच कि बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेस हो रहा है, इट्स टाइम टू रिलैक्स नाउ, इट्स टाइम टू काम डाउन. Plus, it's completely non-invasive, so we are not doing any chemical reaction in your brain for you to get addicted to it or cause any side effect. It's a purely non-invasive process, and you don't have to wear it all the time also. मतलब मैं अपनी नीट की प्रेपरेशन कर रही हूँ एंड आई बीन स्टडिंग फॉर कंटिन्यूसली फॉर 6 hours 7 hours. आई नीड अ ब्रेक, तो मैं 10 मिनट का ब्रेक लूंगी. आई यूज दैट डिवाइस, टेक अ स्मॉल ब्रेक एंड देन गेट बैक टू वर्क. That will make me much more productive. That will make me much more effective without causing too much strain on me. So use it whenever you require it. You can use it for your goals whenever you need it. So that is the kind of proposition we are bringing.
हाँ, आपने एक चीज और शेयर की इनर गाइज पे कि while making inner guys you were suffering from type 1 diabetes and you got diagnosed. Can you share that journey? क्या challenges
Yes.
faced, how you overcame?
Absolutely. So when I had started working on Energize, I think it must have been 6 months, 7 months into it. This is in 2023. So, as I had said, I was in Delhi building with the team. We were almost done with everything, just doing final tweaks, putting everything in place. और मैं घर गई थी in Diwali vacation to meet my family. तो बहुत ही normal routine चीजें, like we were having lunch and then just doing going about our own things. बहुत normal day जा रहा था, and अचानक से next day I started feeling immense pain in my stomach, and अचानक से I was very thirsty. I was feeling like really low. There was a lot of body weakness and like a lot of pain that I could feel, and I was not able to understanding कि हो किसकी वजह से रहा है. So we then, my family took me to the emergency room in the hospital. तब जो initial checking वगैरह होती है, तब मेरा blood glucose test किया था, and it came out to be 600 mgdl. तो just for the users, normal level आपका होता है somewhere around 90 to 120 mgdl, but mine was 600 mgdl. तब तब मुझे समझ में आया कि मतलब eventual diagnosis was that this is a diabetic condition, स्पेशली टाइप 1, जो एक ऑटो इम्यून डिसऑर्डर है. ऑटो इम्यून डिसऑर्डर मतलब मेरे ही इम्यूनिटी सेल्स मेरे ही पैनक्रियाटिक सेल्स को मार रहे हैं जो इंसुलिन प्रोड्यूस करती है. So insulin, which is usually there in your body to regulate this blood glucose level, ताकि blood sugar levels बहुत high ना हो. So my body does not produce any insulin. So I have to take insulin externally all the time to keep my blood glucose under control. तो ये आई वाज इन द आईसीयू फॉर ऑलमोस्ट 7 days, एंड तब से फिर obviously my whole life was changed because 25 years of my life was completely normal, working on startup, doing this, traveling, and suddenly now it's like you're a diabetic, you're a high risk, you can't do everything now. बहुत मतलब घर वालों ने भी बोला कि you know like maybe you should think about doing a normal job, maybe it's time for you to quit startup because your health is compromised now. But I think this whole incident made me reflect that, how stress was an integral part of my life and how eventually it turned out to be like this. So it has to be this. Like I have to solve this problem. If not now, then I don't think I'd be ever able to solve this kind of a problem again. And plus the thing with these diabetic in general is a lifestyle disease, right? तो मैंने तब एक्चुअली फर्स्ट हैंड एक्सपीरियंस किया कि जब मैं बहुत ओवरथिंक करती हूँ, जब मैं बहुत स्ट्रेस लेती हूँ, तो मेरा एक्चुअली ब्लड ग्लूकोज कितना स्पाइक कर रहा है. तो इवन though it's not something that I've ate, but just that amount of mental stress or that poor quality of sleep would directly impact my blood glucose level. तो वो कंट्रोल करने में फिर इतना हाई ग्लूकोज देख के आपको और टेंशन आता है और स्ट्रेस आता है और बढ़ता है. So it was getting stuck into that cycle. So I also had to learn a lot ki, okay, this kind of thing impacts my blood glucose levels. I should avoid doing this. I should make sure that I sleep on time, eat on time, improve my lifestyle. So वहां से वो सब शुरू हो गया था. तो and इस पूरे दौरान I think my team has handled everything so well. Like I remember I had reached out to Siddharth when I got to know about my type 1 diabetes. And because he is also someone who has an autoimmune disease, he had helped me so much during that period. He, helped me with certain tips like, how could you, what kind of diet you should follow, what kind of exercise you should do, try to do this, do that, always stick up on me. And while I had taken a break to recover, these guys handled everything. So it that shows how much trust, how much belief you need to have in your team, your co-founders as well. So this whole experience taught me that. And I think yeah, the difficult part was acceptance, right? क्योंकि कुछ पता ही नहीं है एक नॉर्मल लड़की को अचानक 25 साल में टाइप 1 डायबिटीज कैसे हो सकता है. Nobody was ready to believe only. Like the doctors would come and ask me कि अरे तुम तो इतनी यंग हो, तुम्हें कैसे हो गया ये वगैरह. And it would really daunt me. Like I would blame myself. Like how did I let this happen? So I think in general awareness about these things is low. When I researched about it, I actually found out that a lot of so this condition, particular type 1 diabetes, it's called LADA, latent autoimmune diabetes in adults. And this has become very common in today's world, especially in India, that people are getting diagnosed at the age of 20 or mid 20s, because this kind of lifestyle disease, it actually shows up, or autoimmune disease shows up with a certain stressor. तो काफी young adults को ये होने लगा है. In fact, I also got to know that there was one friend of mine. He got to know that he is type 1 diabetic when he had gotten a job in an MNC company. और वहां पे एक initial test करवाते हैं, drug test, normal health checkup. तो उस normal health checkup करने गया कि अभी joining होगी वगैरह, and in his blood reports he came to know that sugar levels are 400, 500 and he has type 1 diabetes. तो awareness ही नहीं है बिल्कुल इस चीज की. तो I think that was a really life changing moment, and तब से we have been very actively working towards it. In fact, after Shark Tank episode also, a lot of type 1 diabetics have also reached out to me to know कि आप कैसे manage करते हो, because startup में हो और stress ना हो ऐसा तो हो ही नहीं सकता. At the same time you're working long hours, so आप actually कैसे manage करते हो. तो speaking with these people, giving them that kind of support, that I understand how difficult it can be, but just hold on, you guys will also make through this. It's all about management. It's nothing too much to be scared of. Diabetes is all about management and helping people just really live normal lives. I think that eventually became my mission.
वुड यू से कि क्यों हुआ? आप स्ट्रेस ज़्यादा लेते थे एंड आप नींद पूरी नहीं करते थे, इस वजह से हुआ?
So, see, nobody really knows a real reason about it. I mean, obviously, genetic factor तो है ही, but वो genetic factor अगर होता भी, तो मुझे juvenile diabetes होता, which is the more common one, जो बचपन में ही पता चल जाता है कि आपको diabetes है कि नहीं, if it has a very strong genetic factor. So, genetic factor, yes, one thing is there, but why is it coming at 25 years later? That was something which shocked everyone. And yes, I mean, being in a startup, I used to work long hours. Not necessarily that I would eat on time. Sometimes I would have lunch at 4, 5. We would work 24/7, travel a lot. तो अब traveling करते हो तो obviously food and water में change होता है, environment में change होता है. So I guess, and the stress eventually accumulated to this. But yeah, I mean, the research like definitely shows it is your lifestyle. Like it is the way you are functioning, kind of rest you take, the kind of stress you take, are you eating healthy or not, are you exercising, all of these factors come into it. And if you're not somebody who's doing routine checkups, if you're not somebody who is aware about like these things I have to be mindful of, तो वो और difficult हो जाता है, then it comes as a shock. So I think just creating that awareness and being aware about things, and I guess that is why I'm so inclined towards wearables, because wearables make our lives so much easy. Just having that information real time beforehand so that you could do something about it, it really is life changing. So definitely, I mean, I think awareness part of it is there, but also stress plays a huge role.
कैन यू टेल अस अबाउट डायबिटीज अ लिटिल मोर? व्हाट इज जुवेनाइल डायबिटीज एंड व्हाट इज टाइप?
या सो जो आपने बहुत कॉमनली सुना होगा, एक होता है टाइप 2 डायबिटीज, विच इज अ लाइफस्टाइल डिसीज, जहाँ पे योर ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल्स आर कंसिस्टेंटली हाई, तो आपकी बॉडी इनफ इंसुलिन नहीं प्रोड्यूस कर सकती टू ब्रिंग दोज ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल्स टू अ नॉर्मल लेवल. तो उसके लिए आप एक्सटर्नल मेडिकेशंस लेते हो, आप डाइट ऐसे फॉलो करते हो जो लो इन कार्ब्स हो, ताकि बहुत ज्यादा शुगर स्पाइक ना हो. Of course, you avoid eating sweets, you avoid eating sugar because that will give you high glucose levels. So, एक होता है type 2, which is like lifestyle disease, you have to take medicines externally to manage it. And एक होता है type 1. तो type 1 में, as I had mentioned, कि आपकी body insulin produce करना बंद कर देती है. Because your immunity cells, pancreas में जो beta cells होते हैं जो ये insulin produce कर रही है, the immunity cells destroy these pancreatic cells, which is why there is no more insulin in your body. So anything you eat will now cause glucose spike. तो इस कंडीशन में आपको एक्सटर्नली इंसुलिन लेना पड़ता है through injections. So you have certain doses based on like what you are eating. तो आप उस dosage में you have to take insulin 4 to 5 times a day, and it's lifetime. Like an autoimmune disorder cannot be fixed. Like type 2 diabetes जो आपने सुना होगा कि diabetes कंट्रोल में आ गया, फिक्स हो गया, नाउ नो मोर नीड टू टेक मेडिकेशंस. वो टाइप 1 डायबिटीज में अनफॉर्चुनेटली नहीं होता। तो आपको फॉर लाइफ टाइम इंसुलिन डिपेंडेंट रहना पड़ता
तो स्टार्टअप बिल्ड करना स्ट्रेसफुल होता है जैसे आपने बताया। एंड
है।
क्या-क्या आपके लाइफ में चेंजेस आए एंड क्या-क्या आपने हैबिट्स बनाई जिससे आप अपनी लाइफ को मैनेज कर पा रहे हो?
Right. So I would say like before type 1 diabetes, it was all over the place only. Like you are also trying to figure out things. आप टीम भी बना रहे हो, आप काम भी कर रहे हो. तो obviously working late nights, working on weekends, ये mostly होता था. But I think after post diabetes and since everybody has now become a lot more health conscious, there are certain changes that I brought in my life that I make sure that I don't do late nights more often. Like I go to sleep by 10:30, 11 and start my day early. Of course, there are times when I need to stretch, but हम टीम में ही ऐसे वर्क डिवाइड करते हैं कि किसी एक बंदे पे बहुत ज्यादा प्रेशर ना हो. तो even if I had to do late nights, I know कि वो it is doable and it's not something that I have to do on stretch. So sleeping on time, having your lunch and dinner on time, these timings are also very important. So having a good breakfast, having my lunch on time, my dinner on time, exercising. I understand कि जब आप travel करते हो तो exercising छूट जाती है या फिर it's not that consistent, but I ensure कि मेरा routine of exercising, or if I just want to do few yoga exercises, I do it wherever I am. Plus, we have this thing in our whole team that मैं और मेरे co-founders and team members, we go and play badminton, we'll go and play pickleball, or we'll go to gym together. So these are some small things that we try to incorporate, however busy everybody is. Plus, I think journaling also has helped me a lot, just to put down my thoughts, because startup is all about speed and momentum, right? So many things are happening, so many decisions you have to take. And plus, being a diabetic, again, I have to make decisions that should I eat this or not? How much insulin should I take? If my blood glucose drop, do I have something sweet to, bring it back to the normal level? So, too many decisions to make, right, in one day. So, journaling has definitely helped me a lot, just to put down your thoughts, having that clarity about how you want to go ahead. That really, really helps. So, yeah, these are some of the changes that we have made.
अब एक मैं पर्सनल क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहूँगा कि आई एम आल्सो सफरिंग, आई एम अ नाइट आउल। ये नाइट में लेट सोना भी अफ़ेक्ट करता है?
जी, जी, बिल्कुल। बिकॉज़ आपकी बॉडी क्लॉक या फिर आपका सर्केडियन रिदम उस टाइम से सेट होता है, एंड व्हेन यू गो अगेंस्ट इट, नाउ आपको आपके बॉडी को इनफ रेस्ट नहीं मिला है, जब उसको मिलना चाहिए था। बट अगेन सुबह के 9 बज रहे हैं, सुबह के 10 बज रहे हैं, अब तो आप सो नहीं पाओगे। अगेन यू हैव टू गो बैक टू वर्क एंड डू 100 अदर थिंग्स, हैव 100 अदर कॉल्स। तो अगेन यू आर पुटिंग मोर प्रेशर ऑन योर बॉडी एंड अगेन यू आर एंटरिंग दैट सिम्पैथेटिक ओवरड्राइव। तो ये चीज़ें भी अफ़ेक्ट करती है। एंड स्पेशली फॉर आई मीन गाइस, तो वो एक फिजिकल स्ट्रेन आ ही जाता है, एंड इट ऑल्सो रिड्यूसेस योर प्रोडक्टिविटी ओवर द टाइम इफ यू डूइंग दिस कंटिन्यूअसली. तो आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू डिस्कनेक्ट, टेक अ ब्रेक एंड टेक दैट स्लीप विच इज रिक्वायर्ड, वरना वो आपकी प्रोडक्टिविटी भी अफेक्ट करता है, आपका जजमेंट भी अफेक्ट करता है. This is one thing. Plus, when it comes to women, there are lot of hormonal changes that also you have to go through. फिर आप उसमें night out करो, and you're working, putting your body on strain, that it does not really give you good results. So I think you should not really compromise on your sleep quality or on your sleep timings. Maybe manage work more efficiently, or set deadlines accordingly, but night out always is not really an option. So I think you should prioritize your health, take actions towards it, and then eventually manage all your work around it.
Like I told you yesterday that I also has sometimes I have pain on in my veins, like in my left side,
Hmm.
some only in my left side of vein here. So you also told that ki rest is not proper and sleep is not a part of rest. Can you tell us ki
Yeah,
things are part of rest? I take 8+ hours of sleep every day.
right,
What
right.
what things more
So,
I can?
correct, correct. So, see, sleep is obviously one part that you should ensure that you're getting enough sleep, but resting also is important. Like, जैसे, like I said about the disconnect part, sometimes you just have to get out of that zone, give your body few minutes or that certain period of time to just calm down, relax, maybe not do something which is too much stimulating. Maybe just stay away from the phone for few minutes. Because see, if you're just resting, even if you think that just going through Instagram is your kind of break or relaxing, it's not. Because your brain is still active and it's still going to consume that content. It's still going to get into that sympathetic state. That is not something we want. So you need proper rest, you need proper relaxation. And it could be just sitting with yourself, it just could be taking a walk in a park, or it just could be maybe for a few minutes sitting down with your friends, just relaxing, chilling. That is also a part of rest. And it is important because you need these breaks, you need these disconnects. तो मैं पूरा 12 घंटा काम करूंगा and then I'll sleep and then I'll just get back, not essentially works. So I think getting those small breaks really helps you create that difference, and eventually it also helps your productivity. So that is really crucial.
Yeah, in my case, when I'm doing my job, whenever I get break, maybe even in lunch break, and even after my job, it's my instant, and it's my instant that whenever I get time, I I start working on my things, on my community, on my startup building. So
Yeah.
maybe this is the thing. I do not get rest. In my rest times, I do.
Hmm.
I'm working.
Then you're you're still working. Basically, in your rest time also you're still working. And I guess that is just the startup life. I mean, that is how we are wired as founders, that you feel the need of constantly working. अरे ये रह गया, अरे वो भी करना है, ये भी करना है. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
taking breaks is really important.
थिंग्स इन माई माइंड कि 7 बजे जाना है एंड ये काम शुरू कर देना है एंड वो मैं बैठा हूँ 12-1 बजे तक एंड डूइंग दैट थिंग विल इम्प्रूव
Understand?
एंड कैन वी नो
Yes.
द थॉट प्रोसेस बिहाइंड चूजिंग B2B फर्स्ट एंड देन B2C in inner guys?
Right. So Energized is actually a B2C brand only, but I think our initial strategy was to take a B2B, like we are doing B2B partnerships, strategic partnerships, I would like to say, because we want to get that early validation and scale faster. Like if I wait for my product to launch and then invest in the invest my money in marketing, performance marketing, wait my consumers to come and give feedback, see if there's retention, it's better I prove it in a B2B to get these validations and get these feedbacks faster and eventually scale. So that was the strategy towards B2B to get that early traction and scale quickly. And B2C will be more organic, that, once you've heard from your friend who has tried Energize, or once you have seen on the internet or somewhere that there is a product and that's something that it could really help you, maybe you buy it and give it a try. So that is something that is there, that B2C will be our organic channel, and it is always open, that it will people will be still able to buy our product from our website, but also have these B2B strategic partnerships to reach more amount of people in less time, get this early traction that we are saying, and eventually be able to scale faster. So that was the thought process.
Can we know how early traction, like you partner with gyms, you partner with health centers, and they suggest your product to their audience, and that's how you.
Right, right. Yes, yes. So, like, let's say we have done a partnership with this company and they have incorporated it as a part of their EAP program, employee wellness program. And we've set up a booth where people can come in their lunch break, try out the product, and they can buy it because they have certain corporate benefits. They can try it and, purchase it for themselves if they really like it, just like a 10 rupees or 15 rupees per session that you try. So that way, there's always an experience maintained in that whole organization where they already have a footfall of 1,000 2,000 people. So you have access to those people. They've already tried out your product and they eventually are suggesting it to their families or friends. So this is one thing, including it in their corporate wellness programs. There are certain wellness centers also who offer therapies, who want to make Energize a part of their regime or exercises, because a lot of people try to do meditation. A lot of people are trying to do just deep breathing, really doesn't help for us because they're not able to focus. So this Energize will help them adapt to it. It will be sort of like a warm up to help them meditate consistently, to do certain exercises more effectively. Because, as a generation now, things have become so accessible. We want things instantly. We don't want to wait for 30 days, 60 days for it to actually work for me. So I think in this case, Energize fits perfectly because we are actually like a warm up and will help the user to actually slip into that stage where they're able to meditate, where they're able to focus on themselves and eventually help them feel centered. So these are the ideas and strategies behind B2B partnership.
Awesome. Abhi, right now the product is available at 5,000 for the audience, and you said in on Shark Tank that it is manufacturing cost is 1,200. Is there any
Yeah.
scope of making it more affordable in future?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, as in when we scale up the production, once the product is out, definitely it can be scaled to, lowering the prices. Even, in fact, we're also thinking of in the future introducing student discounts so that even students can buy it. So yes, that is so definitely a probability. I also feel startup founders should be given special discounts because entrepreneurs are facing a lot of stress and they should be given the privilege to use Energize.
True. Where do you see yourself in next 5 years?
So in next 5 years, I definitely want to take Energize global because stress is a universal problem. It's not just that it's confined to specific region or specific country. So in the next 12 months, in fact, we are aiming to apply for our FDA licenses and step into the US market. So in the next 5 years, I see Energize going global, and for every mental health problem or issues, be it stress related, anxiety related, sleep related, there is Energize to help them out. So for every mental health issue, you have your companion called Energize. That is the 5 year vision.
To end the podcast, we will have some small questions. And अगर आपको इनर गाइज के अलावा कोई और स्टार्टअप चलाना होता तो क्या होता?
I am definitely very inclined towards health tech and wearables because I myself use wearables. I think wearables make your life easy. It gives you more control. Type 1 diabetes management 10 years ago इतना easy नहीं होता जितना आज है because we have data, because we have wearables and we have sensors today which are giving these information. So of course, Energize is the focus. Right now and for the next coming years. But I would, if I had to do something else, it would definitely be something in health tech.
awesome. कोई अपनी डेली हैबिट शेयर करना चाहोगे जो आपकी सक्सेस में इंपॉर्टेंट रही हो?
As I mentioned, journaling really helps. कभी कभार क्या होता है, you are so caught up in your work, you are chasing deadlines, you also have a team to manage, you um, you are on constant meetings, ensuring everything is in place. कि there are certain details that you miss out. मतलब ये फिर बाद में जाके याद आता है, अरे ये भी करना था, but उसी टाइम मैंने कर दिया होता तो ये आज हो चुका होता. So I think to avoid that unnecessary stress and avoid that unnecessary overthinking, journaling definitely helps because when you're just putting your thoughts, you are giving yourself that mental space, that clarity to think other things as well. So I think journaling definitely has been helping me in my journey, and I would encourage everybody to try it out as well.
कोई बुक्स या मूवीज सजेस्ट करना चाहोगे जो आपको इंस्पायर कर?
I would definitely say that Almanac of Naval Ravikant is something that I've read very early in my college life, and that had always been not just inspirational, but it just gives you perspective. So, Almanac of Naval Ravikant is something that I feel everybody should at least read it once. There's one more book called Power of Subconscious Mind. I think in today's day and age, we tend to overthink a lot. I think that's everybody agrees with that. But you should also listen to your gut instinct. Listening to your gut instinct because your subconscious mind knows what's right for you. And in that wave of overthinking, our conscious mind is making decisions that we overshadow what we actually feel. And I think that that has been a case for a lot of people. So trusting your gut instinct is really, really crucial. That is at least that is something that has been working out for me. So these two books, I think people should definitely read. Apart from that, Dr. Siddhant has also written a book on weight loss. So it's called Seedhi Baat No Bakwas, Weight Loss by Dr. Siddharth Bhargava. Trust me, it's not a boring book. It's a very simplified and a fun way to understand about health, what things are necessary. So it's not something that only weight loss people or somebody who's just focused on their weight loss journey should read it. I feel everybody should read it because Siddhant has not only spoken about his mental health journey, but also just simplified normal day-to-day facts and myths. Like, people like 5 years ago used to be so scared to take protein powders and protein supplements. Look what the world is today. So, all, bursting these myths, just putting out straight facts backed by science, understanding these small, small crucial elements which help you, navigate through your lifestyle. All these things. It's a very fun book. I remember I read it in just one day. So it was that interesting. So I would definitely urge you to give it a read as well. And I'm sure it will help you in one way or the other.
Any movies?
Movies, I usually don't get too much time to watch movies. But I think the one very light-hearted and a feel-good movie that I like to also rewatch a lot of times is a movie called Intern. So it revolves around the life of a female entrepreneur and her struggles, her stories, and how an experienced senior actually helps her, who is not a techie, who doesn't really much understands about this newish technology, really helps her in her journey, advises her. So it's a really fun movie, but also gives you that inspirational element that you should just pursue what your heart really wants, and you are equipped to face all the challenges and struggles that come your way. All you have to do is believe. Just go through it. Don't overthink.
बीइंग अ फीमेल एंटरप्रेन्योर आपको कोई स्पेसिफिक चैलेंजेस फेस हुए?
So when I had started out like in early 2020, 2021, yes, I mean, there are certain challenges that you face as a female entrepreneur. Not everybody is very accepting of it. Like, I feel there was some early resistance and doubt when I started out because people were not sure whether if I really had it in me, whether I should really pursue it. Because हमेशा एक engineers के लिए fixed था that you always do a job or you go for higher studies. That's it. I don't think in my college also anybody really pursued entrepreneurship. I was the only girl in my batch who really, went something and created something of her own. So definitely initial resistance बहुत होता है. But thankfully, in today's world, in like the time we are living in India, there are a lot of programs. There are a lot of funding opportunities specifically for women to encourage them to pursue their startups, pursue what they really want to do, and help them with whatever support is required, be it funding, be it network, be it skills and talent, etc. So I think that has definitely changed, and that has given the initial boost to the early female founders to actually pursue it. And I'll also tell you one more interesting thing. One flip side of this is when you are a female founder and you are working on a certain startup, let's say, or a certain idea, people are really reluctant to give you an honest feedback because they feel कि अरे ये तो इतना काम कर रही है, she will break down if I say something to her, or if this fails, she'll not be able to get back up. So I've also received this feedback कि, initially I thought that, this might not work, but I didn't want to tell you to your face because I thought you won't be able to take it. So this is also the kind of response, and it was really shocking. But these are also some of the feedbacks that you get to hear. So I guess it's a very exciting journey. You get to meet a lot of people, and you get to learn a lot of things, I would say. So I guess it's just you follow your instinct and follow your dreams. Do what you feel is right.
हार्डवेयर स्टार्टअप में और सॉफ्टवेयर स्टार्टअप करने में कुछ डिफरेंस फील होता है?
Definitely. I mean, software startups, या फिर any, all these tech or any website related, जो भी चीजें आप देखते हो, उसको build करने में आपको बहुत ज्यादा capital नहीं लगता. Also, hiring or just managing your talent is also very easy because you're just working remotely and you can get things done pretty quickly. Testing becomes very easy. Getting early traction becomes very easy. And in that way, you can scale faster when you are a SaaS-based or any software-based startup. As compared to the hardware, it is much more riskier. It involves a lot of capital. You have to dedicate a lot of time because the gestation period is long. मतलब एक सॉफ्टवेयर स्टार्टअप एक प्रोडक्ट और एक ऐप लेट्स से बनाने में शायद 3 महीने 6 महीने में वो बना दे, बट वही चीज अगर हार्डवेयर प्रॉपर करनी हो तो आपको उतना पीरियड लगता ही है, फ्रॉम रिसर्च टू प्रोटोटाइपिंग, टेस्टिंग, getting final design for manufacturing done, 1 से 2 साल तो होता ही है. If it's a medical device, it's even longer because you have to do clinical trials, you have to get certifications. So definitely, it's much more riskier and much more time consuming. But again, you have to ensure कि जो भी product आप build कर रहे हो, it makes the consumer's life easy. It's giving that value add कि eventually the person will keep using it. तो ये difference तो definitely है hardware startup.
प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट करते हुए सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज क्या आया, जिसमें आपको सबसे ज़्यादा टाइम लग गया सॉर्ट आउट करते हुए?
Product development में I think it was miniaturization is something that took us a lot of time and that was one crucial and we knew we had to achieve it because मुझे पता था मैंने बहुत सारे vagus nerve stimulators try out किए थे who were bulky, who were not that of great design, not ergonomic, not user friendly at all, but were efficacious. But अगर मैं अभी Indian market को देखूं, if what I'm building is not something user friendly, not portable, it's not something that can be easily integrated in their lifestyle, तो यूजर ऑनेस्टली उसको यूज करना बंद कर देगा आफ्टर सर्टेन पीरियड ऑफ टाइम इफ ही डजंट सी एनी वैल्यू एड. तो miniaturization was something that we really focused on, and that took a lot of time. We went through a lot of iterations, lot of testings to eventually finalize one thing, and we decided yes, this is going to be our energized Gen 1 and this will go out.
कोई न्यू प्रोडक्ट्स, कोई न्यू इनोवेशंस हम इधर जैसे देखेंगे इन फ्यूचर? वुड यू लाइक टू रिवील हियर?
Absolutely. So this version, so अभी जो version है हमारा is obviously more focused towards stress relief to help you get better sleep. But हमारे app में भी there are different modes. जैसे stress और sleep मैंने आपको बताया, relax sleep. वैसे we have other modes also. Post workout recovery. If you are somebody who is an ADHD person, you are not able to focus on one task for a long time. If you're somebody who suffers from migraines, cluster headaches, if you're somebody, for women, you are going through PMS, we have these modes as well. So that is the level of customization that we're going in. And as and when we perform clinical trials, we will be unlocking all these modes for ADHD, for stimulant control. आज आपने बहुत ज़्यादा कैफीन ले लिया, 4 कप कॉफी ले ली, अब नींद नहीं आ रही है, जिटरीनेस आ रहा है, तो उनके लिए क्या करें? Use the stimulant control mode. So all these different modes and customizations, we will be introducing it in the near future. We will also be focusing more products on sleep related issues, something that can help you with your sleep disturbances, something that you can easily wear and go to sleep. Uh, in the future, we would like to also partner with other psychologists, psychiatrists in acting as an adjuvant solution. So Energize can easily slip into your therapy as an SOS or something to, just track the progress of your patients. So these are some of the avenues. And as I said, my vision is key for every mental health related issue. As your mental health companion, Energize is there. So building those products and building those solutions around it is what we want to do going ahead.
आपने कोई मिस्टेक्स की हो एंड अपने पास्ट वाली ट्रैवल टाइम ट्रैवल अगर आप कर सकें तो आप एक एडवाइस जो अपने पास्ट वाली सेल्फ को देना चाहें, वुड यू लाइक टू शेयर?
Sure. I mean, of course, like we've made a lot of mistakes, and in a startup, you make a lot of mistakes. I think learning from these mistakes and then working on them is the only way you'll be able to grow. अगर आप वो एक पर्टिकुलर मिस्टेक नहीं करोगे, आपको वो पर्टिकुलर चीज पता नहीं चलेगी कि अरे ये तो चलता नहीं है. Let me discard this. Let me just go to the next step. तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली जर्नी ही स्टार्टअप की ऐसी रहती है कि यू हैव टू मेक मिस्टेक्स अनलेस एंड अनटिल आप हाथ जला लो एक चीज में आप आगे नहीं बढ़ पाओगे. तो यस डेफिनेटली आई थिंक टू थिंग्स वर डेफिनेटली देयर कि जो अर्ली मार्केट रिसर्च अर्ली टेस्टिंग जो होता है हमने जो आईवारा के टाइम ज्यादा नहीं किया था फोकस वी वर मोर फोकस्ड ऑन द प्रोडक्ट परफेक्टिंग इट. We definitely had as founders we had a lot of bias कि this is the solution and this is the best solution out there. People would definitely buy it. वो early validation हमें जल्दी नहीं मिला या फिर हमने ज्यादा focus नहीं किया था तब. And this is what I tried to rectify and energize also, that we had ensured that we do multiple testings, take consumer feedback, because unless and until you experience it, you consumer को भी पता नहीं चलेगा कि oh this actually works for me or not. So getting early validation definitely. And the second thing is just building that resilience. As I said, you will make mistakes. There will be times that you'll fail a customer, you'll fail your investor, or maybe your co-founder. You have to be okay with these failures. Just know that it's not the end of the day. You don't have to give up. It's just one mistake. You definitely learn from it, wake up, show up, and start working on improving it. क्योंकि multiple iterations के बाद ही एक अच्छा product निकलता है. It's not like the first version you made is great and you see it's working out तो ये successful होगा. ऐसा तो कभी होता नहीं है. तो that is definitely there कि iterations होंगे. Be prepared for it. Be prepared to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. And third thing एक है जो PMF की बात करते हैं लोग, product market fit. I think a lot of founders don't know this, but product market fit एक one time thing नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने product बना लिया, test कर लिया, launch कर दिया market में, अरे product market fit मिल गया. You see consumers responding, हो गया मेरा product market fit. It doesn't end there. Product market fit is tested at every stage, right from when you have built the prototype to when you have launched it to when you're scaling it. जब आप scale करोगे, क्या ये scalable है solution? That is also a product market fit test, and that gets tested at every stage. So you have to be prepared for it. तो ये एक चीज definitely एक बहुत बड़ी learning रही है. And yeah, I mean these are the overall things.
ऑसम। सो टू एंड द पॉडकास्ट, एस्पायरिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स और जो हमारी ऑडियंस है, यंग कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स को एक फाइनल मैसेज अगर आप देना चाहो।
For the aspiring entrepreneurs, I would say, trust your gut instinct. Do what you feel is right. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I know it sounds very common and very easy, but trust me, I've been through that phase. I know how it feels. तो आज नहीं पता किसी को भी कि आपका स्टार्टअप या फिर आप जो भी प्रोडक्ट बनाओगे वो चलेगा या नहीं, unless you make it. So I would always say that, focus on building, focus on talking to customers, because आपको validation वहीं से मिलेगा. So that is one thing. And second thing, please also take care of your health. Your health is also very, very crucial. You can't run a startup if you're not healthy. You can't run a startup if you're always sick. You can't run a startup if you're mentally exhausted. So prioritizing health is also very, very crucial. So you need to keep in mind, if you are not in a good health today, your team won't be able to perform, your startup won't be able to perform. So always take care of yourself first. So those are the two advices I'd like to give.
Cool then, thank you so much for doing this and it was a pleasure talking to you। बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला।
Thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad. It was really nice talking to you, Mayank. And I hope that uh, a lot of people get to watch this and learn from the experiences. And yeah, that's what we are trying to do here. Create that awareness. Make people realize and understand that eventually it is your mental health. Your mental health is the real health, and we can't ignore it, especially in today's day and age where so many things are changing so rapidly and you have to keep up with it. So prioritizing your health is very, very crucial in today's day and age.
ये पॉडकास्ट काफ़ी इंसाइटफुल रहा। शालमली ने काफ़ी वैल्यूएबल इंसाइट शेयर की, चाहे वो शार्क टैंक इंडिया का एक्सपीरियंस हो या एक हेल्थ टेक स्टार्टअप बिल्ड करना हो या स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट के टिप्स। मेरा फेवरेट पार्ट उनका शार्क टैंक जर्नी था और स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट का पर्सपेक्टिव था। काफ़ी रिलेटेबल लगा मुझे वो। मुझे इस पॉडकास्ट से काफ़ी कुछ सीखने को मिला और उम्मीद है कि आपको भी ये पॉडकास्ट इन्फॉर्मेटिव लगा होगा। अगर पॉडकास्ट पसंद आया हो तो लाइक, शेयर एंड कमेंट ज़रूर करें। बताएं अपना फेवरेट पार्ट। मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट एपिसोड में, तब तक के लिए टेक केयर एंड स्टे स्ट्रेस फ्री।